Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 3 of the Bag Collection podcast. My guests today are Timothy Goodwin and Michael Sigler. They are wonderful friends of mine that I've got to work on a couple projects with. They are absolutely hilarious, wonderful, kind people, and I really hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Hey Tim, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
A
Okay.
little bit better.
Yeah, looks great. All right, and now we're just waiting for Michael to jump on here.
Coolio.
Oh my. It feels like so long now since we did the zombie club.
Well, how long has it been? So it's been a year, hasn't it? Wasn't it summer?
A year. Yeah, it'll be a year next month.
Yeah. Okay.
It just feels so much longer. I don't know, time is so weird nowadays.
Yeah. It's some things I look at that were 20 years ago. It seems like yesterday, but then yesterday seems like it was eternity ago. I'll never understand that. Never.
Exactly. I agree.
You don't mind if I put the glasses on because I can't see. There we go.
Whatever you got to do, no problem. I get it.
So what else has been going on?
Well, I mean, I finished acting school in New York.
Yeah.
And then I've been home since everything started. So I finished online, of course. And I've just been keeping myself busy. I've been doing these podcast interviews and working again to save up some money for stuff. And yeah, hopefully I will be auditioning again soon because I know stuff's starting to get back
Yeah.
into its
I,
usual type of thing.
Was it yesterday? The first one in a while. Yesterday. That looks better.
Nice.
For a commercial, Colorado lottery commercial. So they'd be flying me to Colorado, which would be fun. And I had the fake mustache. I don't know if you saw that post yesterday on Facebook.
I think I did. Yeah.
I'm not sure whether people thought I really grew that this morning or not, but
For a second, I was like, is that real? I had a moment. I'm not going to lie.
that's all right. So you're in West Virginia?
No, I'm from Pittsburgh originally, so I'm back home in PA.
That's right. Okay. Now, what's behind you? Are those your classmates?
So I go to Comic-Cons a lot. So this is just like all my Comic-Con photos, and I figured, since I'm doing interviews with other actors, I just use this as a background, and then eventually I'm going to be starting up another web series about horror. So
Okay. Well, that's cool.
yeah.
No, light on is better. That works. So now, what are things like where you are as far as we went from COVID-19 was everything, and now everything is the riots and just, so now the COVID is gone, which I'm thankful for. But what's it like there? Is everybody getting back to normal, or what's going on there?
Well, I mean, there have been protests down in the city, but I'm like 20, 30 minutes outside of the city, so I haven't really seen any of it unless it's been on the news. As far as COVID goes, I mean, we haven't had any more people get tested positive for it around here, at least. So it's kind of just been, keep taking precautions, keep your masks on. We're in the green phase now, so everything's starting to open back up and go to normal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like adapting to everything now that all of that has went down since then, honestly.
Right. That's good.
How's California?
It's just as crazy as ever. People are nuts here. I'm an oddball as far as the way that I live my life, and the things that I believe in and don't believe in. It's a little bit different than most people here. So I tend to kind of not talk about that stuff.
Got you. No, I understand completely. But yeah, I mean, I was supposed to come up to visit in California for the first time next month, but I'm going to have to postpone it because I guess a lot of stuff still isn't opening back up. And yeah, my mom's one friend that lives down there said it's still not like too great down there. So,
Things are starting to open back up again. Let me just see it real quick. So it is getting a little bit back to normal. But, people are just still freaking out over everything.
right.
And I guess it's somewhat understandable. But on the other hand, it's still like, come on, this is live our life normal. Let's be nice to one another and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready when you are, Michael.
Yeah.
What's taking so long, Mikey? My room is a mess.
It honestly doesn't look bad.
I don't know, it's just so cluttered. That's all
I
right.
understand what you mean when it comes to, yeah, when you say that.
But I was, our governor has given our industry permission to go back to work as of Friday. So that's the day I had my audition. It was 2 days ago now, and so I was glad to go out on the first day of permission to work, which I think is just ridiculous.
Yeah, because when I first came home, before, like because I was gonna come home for spring break because our spring break was a week long, and then they ended up saying if you're gonna go home, just stay home, and then they were like, okay, we're definitely gonna have online classes. So I was like, okay. So my half of my stuff was still in New York when I came home, so we got an extra week off from classes starting back up. So obviously, like I said, we went online and then we stayed online till about the beginning of May, like the second week. And then I went down and got my stuff because they let some of the students stay in the dorms if they couldn't go home for some reason and whatnot. So I had to go back down and get my stuff, obviously, because I didn't want to leave my stuff in New York. So there you go. Look at you getting all decorative.
Oh, I didn't block everything though. What the heck? Oh, it's gonna go over here. I moved my computer. That's right. Since we're waiting on Mike, I might as well
Right.
neaten this up a little bit.
It's so funny. My teacher had something like that too, and that's how he taught. He would just sit in a chair and have that like a background like that.
How's that? There's my cat.
Oh, hi, kitty.
That works.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
A little bit better. At least I'm not. I was distracting myself with, oh, look at that. That's on the furniture over there, and that's the hat's hanging behind me. Now I can pay attention. I'm very distracted. Well, it's nice that things are kind of getting back to normal everywhere.
Right.
Hey, there's Mikey.
Yep.
Timmy, what's up, boy?
What's up, Mikey?
All right.
Well, how have you been, Michael?
I've been great, actually. Probably better than I should be considering everything that's going on. But I got to stay home with, my wife for the last couple of months, which is really nice. And didn't see that coming. So that was good.
Right.
So what's up? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. Look at you. There you are.
Yeah. Well, I was just telling Tim too. I was like, I can't believe it's already going to be like a year since Zombie Club.
Wow.
It's gone by so fast, and time's like so weird now. So it's either too slow or too fast, and sometimes I forget my days, but
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, I just finished acting school.
Great.
So, and I've just been keeping myself busy. I'm starting to work again so I can save up money for paying off loans and stuff. And yeah, just doing my thing. Hopefully auditioning soon, obviously, because the industry's starting to open back up.
You and me both.
Yeah. Tim just said he got his first one yesterday. So, yeah.
We'll have to see if that's the new thing or if that was just some crazy one-off.
One thing I did find interesting is that, I was there alone. They had timed everybody out to where
Really?
the waiting room, you go in, they said, bring your own pen. I had to bring my own props. The guy said, do you mind if I take my mask off? I said, take it off. I don't care.
I don't.
Nobody else. It was interesting. It was just very interesting.
See, what I'm thinking about is casting networks. What is that, the one down in La Brea where they're casting like 5-6 rooms at a time, and everybody's just in the middle, just 100 people. I mean, I don't know how that's going to happen, but
I think for obviously they're not going to be able to see as many people because they're not going to have time. So it might actually be where instead of you may not get as many auditions, but you'll be up against fewer people. I don't know. Who knows? I think that now that the media's attention is on other things, I think that this COVID stuff will go away pretty quickly.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. 2020 is one crazy year, and it's only June, which is still kind of shocking to me. I feel like yesterday it was January.
Yeah.
So, oh my.
It is kind of bizarre. I mean, it just seems like I was out in LA. It was March 20th, I think. And I was on the phone with Lori, and she said, you should come home. And I was like, this thing is going to be a couple of weeks. And so thankfully, she talked me into coming home. And now I can't believe it's the middle of June. It's 3 months later already. I can't believe it. It's just gone,
Exactly.
And this just all can't be over too soon as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. How long have you been in Maryland, Michael?
Since March 21st. She talked me into it, and I came here the next day for what I thought was only going to be a couple of weeks, and still here, waiting for things. The gyms are opened back up in LA. I was surprised and pleasantly surprised to find out. I called yesterday, and you have to wear a mask, of course, but they're open. So that was one of my criteria for going back out. And
That's stupid. Hey, how you doing? Control these cameras and these things better. All right, just don't mind me fooling around and trying to make myself look good in this futile.
Hey, I get it.
You're already looking good, dude.
Oh, Mikey, that's why I like you so much.
Yeah. So I guess to make a long story short, I'm hoping to get back out soon. I have a thing with Jason, I believe, the 15th through the 18th of July, and then shortly after that, I hope.
Right.
Hey, Junior, he's just dying to get in the shot.
Got his ear in there. And what's cute is that he loves his basket. He's like, this. I caught him. So I awakened him from his sleep.
He's a good boy.
So, how long have you both been living out in LA?
I'll start since mine is far less interesting. I moved out in January of last year, and I took a considerable amount of time off from acting, and I started back in the summer of 2014. And over the course, I figure, I'm not as young as I used to be. I gotta give this a shot now, or else I'll look back in 20 years and say, you know what, I might have should have tried. So it was either New York or Atlanta or LA, and it's like, one of those like on Sesame Street, one of those things is not like the others, right? So I thought go to the big pond, and especially since I had some people to mooch off and stay with for a couple of months till I got my feet under me. And Junior, he I stayed in his room. Junior made it in no uncertain terms. He let me know that it was his room.
Of course, he's got his windows where he can watch the wildlife, and he has a good time.
So yeah, so I've been there a little over a year, I guess, minus the last 3 months. So Tim's story is much more impressive than mine.
It's just been here longer. That's all. I moved out in 2000. So in 2 months, it'll be August of 2020. It'll be 20 years for me. Fortunately, I've made progress every year. It's just a long, slow ride up a long, steep hill. One day I'll get to the top of.
Did either of you ever consider any other place, like you said, Michael, you said Atlanta or New York? Like, Tim, did you ever like have a moment of like second guessing, like maybe I shouldn't go to California right now? Or
I never considered anywhere else, just because, even though there's things being filmed across the country and casting directors in Atlanta and other, along the other parts of the East Coast, they're either going to cast, the smaller co-star roles, but most of the starring roles and guest star roles are still being cast out of Los Angeles. So where I'm at, this is a good place for me to be. Now, if I ever, get the Tim series, maybe when that's over, I'll, go to a ranch in Montana or something like that, and then fly in when somebody wants me. But I like it here. I'm an odd bird in a big world, so I have to just kind of, talk to friends like Mike and people that I'm a little more aligned with in every aspect of my life to just kind of keep me sane. And there are people here. There's more people here than you think that are not your typical Californians. You kind of find each other and hang out, and it makes it not so horrible.
Drive each other to the airport, stuff like that.
We have the mountains, we have the beaches, we have the deserts, we got the redwoods, we got the rainforest. I mean, we got everything here, so it is beautiful. It's just, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, because when I was in New York, I was like always worried about money because it is so expensive in New York too. And I got a job my second year, and I was making like $300 a paycheck, like just off of like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making money, thank God. But then then COVID hit, and then I came home, and then I wasn't working for 3 months. And again, like we could probably all three of us go on and on about like, oh, there's just so much that has happened this year that has made things in a way kind of complicated for actors. But it's also, there's a good part and a bad part to it. And that's why I'm also really excited that the industry is starting to open back up, even though I'm not going to lie, like I'm a little bit worried just because COVID is still kind of around, but it's starting to go away a little bit. It's just such weird, scary times.
Well, I'm going to say something a little controversial. Don't stress over something that you have a 99 point something survival rate on. I mean, people are going nuts. So, and I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but none of us are in the demographic that should really be worried at this point in time. I have a greater chance. Denise and I, my wife and I, drove across the country a couple of weeks ago, and our chances of death were greater driving across the country than dying of COVID. So let's just get back to it. And if you're sick, stay home. Anybody who's sick, stay home. Let the rest of us go and live our lives, for crying out loud.
And if you're really afraid, stay home.
Yeah. If you're not afraid, let me go to the beach, please.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, my body is too white. I need some sun.
I'm hasty. I get it.
I grabbed some just yesterday, man. I was out on the deck and it was too bright and it was too nice. And I said, you know what, Lori, this is crazy. I'm looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost here. So another thing though, not to get too dire, but um, I've met a bunch of people, in LA. I don't know, friends, I guess friends, people who've done projects with, people in acting classes, just people you run into. Um, the average actor in LA just barely gets by, they're month to month, or maybe they're maybe a month ahead at one time. And I know a lot of people probably had to go back from where they came because of this. And as it just so happens, their day jobs are in restaurants, and those all shut too. And it's probably, I think it's just a microcosm of the whole country. Everything that's shut, a large portion of those are never going to open back up again. It's just gone. Whatever the dream was, whatever the life savings was, the life's work, that people put into this, it's just gone. And that's the part that bums me out the most. Being retired from my job, I was in a little better position, but just watching some of the stuff other people are going through, it's just heartbreaking. And I hope that we can but that's why I think we just need to get back out there. Because just a few times I shot, a few weeks ago, I saw Wesley, and everybody just was hugging everybody. It was like, we've all been sort of cooped up, and it's not just handshakes and, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh, it's good to see you. It's, oh, why don't you go? Give me some germs or something. This is, and it was just amazing. And people are just itching to get back out. And I think once the floodgates are open, I think that's what we're going to do. I hope that's what we're going to do. So.
Right. That's why I'm definitely really excited that it's starting to come back, because everybody, not even just us actors, but like everybody's hungry for more content and entertainment now, because everything's just been either reruns or there has been some new stuff coming out, but it's so hard because people want to go to the movie theaters and see some of that stuff. People want to go out and make more stuff, and because of everything happening, it's hard to do that. But now that things are really starting to get back into its normal stuff, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, I'm excited to start auditioning, because it's been some time since I've been able to do it too.
Yeah, I remember my last audition. I can't believe how long ago it's been. And
Well, Mike, I was driving through Hollywood to get to my audition the other day, and I'm thinking, didn't realize how long it's been since I've been here.
being in Hollywood.
It was like 3 months, and I hadn't been, I was going two, 3 times a week, driving in there, doing something, and driving down there, that I was like, holy mackerel, it's weird. It was weird. I mean, it looked the same, but I hadn't been there in a while. It was just weird.
Yeah, that's the way it was the other day when I was out there and we were on the 404 coming home from the airport. It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's not just because it's like it's LA, but it's because I've been basically, this is my TV room back at, I've been in this room for 3 months basically. And it was just weird. It's like, oh my gosh, I was like a child, I guess. And, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm on the 404. Oh my gosh. Look at this. I remember this stuff. I remember, hey, look, it's Vaughn's. Hey, look, it's Walmart. Hey, it's Warner Brothers. Look at all this. I remember this. It's funny how your mind just sort of deals with stuff and sort of sticks it away and organizes it some way. And then when it starts to come back, it's just all just strange. So.
Do you drive on 404 out there, Mike?
I beg your pardon?
Do you drive on Highway 404 out there in Maryland?
No, we have a 270.
Because
Did I say 404?
I just did. It's 405.
Did I say 404? Oh my God. Well, I called the 101 the 110 forever. So.
That's the same numbers.
Yeah. I meant 405. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to be that guy, but if people are watching, he's like, you're not in California. There's no 404.
Yeah. That's it. I'm hanging out.
Junior's always poking his head in this. He's so cute.
Where's George? Is he there too? George and Lucy have to get some.
George doesn't. He wakes up to eat and bite people, and then he goes back to sleep. That's all.
It's his priorities, I guess. Can't believe I said this before.
Bryn, right?
Yes. So, what is your most favorite project you ever worked on, and what's your favorite character you've ever had to do? Is there a certain genre you guys prefer when it comes to films and TV and such? A lot to think about. I gave you a lot to think about.
I want to ride the motorcycle and shoot the guns and get the girl and save the world. That's what I want to do. Haven't had a chance to do that yet, but that would be my favorite kind of, kind of a John Wick kind of guy. That'd be nice. That'd be my favorite one to do. My favorite one so far that I've done, I think, is a film I did with Jason called The Cabin. That was a lot of fun. There was a lot of effects, and the guy who shot that, Aaron Moore, is he shot The Zombie Club. He's pretty much a genius, and Dorian, the director, was always in the shot. They cared what was going to be in the shot every single time, and I got to spend some time with Tim and hang out. We met each other on a film called Loophole, and then we got to spend a little bit more time together on The Cabin, and that was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one very much. So, yeah, The Cabin.
What's that about?
It's not a guy.
I think my favorite. I like playing characters that are just entertaining and goofy and funny, which is why, to me, The Follower was such a fun thing to play. I know I had to drive Mikey insane because I was off script. I mean, he's just waiting. He says, I know in his brain he's like, Tim, just say the stupid Q line, and I would just say anything but and just ramble on. And I've apologized to Mike a million times, but I have to do it again now. But it was just so much fun because the type of character that I was playing with, you just never knew what was going to come out of his mouth next anyway. So I took my liberties with that and had a lot of fun. I would say, though, that for me, the favorite thing I've done recently would be the 911 Lone Star, because it was a goal. I've been striving for a goal for a long time of doing a guest star. And that was my first guest star, and then it was the top of show guest star, which is like the best guest star you can get. So I kind of, it doesn't mean I'm going to get all those from here on out, but it was just a nice experience on a big show, and I got to have a bull, a real live bull named Luke, and it was just great fun, great experience, and a goal was met on that episode. So that's kind of sticking in my head right now is an accomplishment that I hadn't done yet. So that was really cool. That was really cool.
It's fun to watch too.
As far as what I would like to play, I do like playing the goofy, eating numbskull kind of guy. But yeah, it'd be nice to blow something up and get the girl at the end too. But probably not going to happen. Well, I mean, it's I have to really, I'm a very handsome and charming guy, but in terms of Hollywood, that's not what people expect to get the beautiful girl in the end. So I have to know who, I think one of the most important things, and Mike and I have talked about this, you got to know who you are. If I thought I was going to come out here and be the next Tom Cruise, I might be able to act better than him and certainly run not as goofy as he does. But the reality is I'd be very disappointed because no one's going to cast me as the next Tom Cruise. So you got to know who you are. And I am the lovable second character, goofy friend of the main guy at the best. Now I could be, doing films like John Candy did, and that'd be a lot of fun to do as well. But as far as mainstream, I got to know that, this is my lot, and I don't mind. Hey, it's fun.
And I know the slow walk in Bubba Hotep was pretty cool. So.
Slow-mo.
Well, of course, as we all already know, we did the zombie club together. So how did you guys like get to work with Jason? Did one of you know him from over the years, or did you meet him through someone?
Yeah, Jason and I went to high school together, and so I've known Jason for a long time. And somebody from my hometown years ago, when Jason was making his first movie called Finding Faith, emailed me and said, "Hey, did you know that Jason's doing a film? He's going to shoot it here in Lynchburg." And so I emailed Jason and said, "Hey, I'm an actor in LA, yada yada yada. If there's a part that I can audition for, I'd love to audition." And Jason didn't email me back, and I was highly offended.
That's just how he does it.
And
It
then
means he likes you.
like 3 weeks, Jason sends me an email. It says, "Okay, we're going to have you play this role in the movie." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was just hoping to audition for something. And so that was 2000, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that. And so just been going with him ever since then. Not every movie, a lot of them, but not everyone. People do get sick of this. Can you believe that?
Travesty.
Michael, how'd you meet Jason?
Oh, mine was a little bit more indirect. I was on Facebook one day, and I had just started acting again. I'd done a few theater things here in the DC area, and I'd done a film or two. I hadn't done a film since 1994, I think, was the last time. So I was a little nervous, a little rusty. But a friend on Facebook, again, there's that friend term. I'd never met him before, but we were friends. He said that a friend of his was casting a film, and she's just, collecting email addresses, and, submit. So, okay, what the heck? And that turned out to be Jenny Ivers, who was directing a film called The Perfect Day. And she got back to me and sent me the material, and I did this newfangled thing called a self-tape, and she liked it, and I got cast. And then a few months later, she said, I get an email out of the blue from her, "What are you doing in September?" I don't know. And that's when they were shooting Loophole. And that's when I met Jason. And he came up to me and he said, "Thanks for doing our films." And I'm like, "Dude, thanks for having me in your films." And we just sort of kept going from there. Then he wrote The Cabin kind of with me in mind, I guess. It's an idea that he had, and he had been thinking about. And then when we met, he kind of thought that I was maybe what he was imagining for the role. And so that was amazing too. Maybe that kind of maybe is why it's one of my favorites too, because I kind of feel like it was kind of with me in mind. The role was written with me in mind. At least that's my story, and I'm going to go ahead and stick to that. And so, yeah, now we're at like 12 or 13, I think. That's like you too, Tim, right? 12 or 13? That's what our little clappers say.
Yeah. I will comment on The Perfect Day and Jenny Ivers. To me, and Jenny, if you're watching, any day with Jenny Ivers is a perfect.
I love you, Jenny. I miss you. It's been a long time. She's a great director too. She's a great director. Hands-on. She'll tell you, no BS. She'll tell you what she's looking for. She doesn't expect you to read her mind. She was wonderful. Yeah.
Lovely. I love that. But the fact that she is hands-on and more direct with her actors, I appreciate that. I like that when people are willing to do that and such. And some aren't, and that's still okay. But it's nice when the director really wants to be with you, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to the way Aaron works. I mean, Aaron Moore's that way too. He cares about what's in the frame, you know, and he just wants to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and that you know, we're fulfilling the you know, the spirit of the story. And so yeah, I think working with Aaron and working with Jenny are very, very similar experiences.
Yeah, I loved working with Aaron. He was the first director that I got to work with, and
Wow,
definitely, yeah.
lucky.
I know. I am very fortunate because he genuinely dives into his work and he really enjoys it and he puts in 150%, and that's all you can ask for in a person when it comes to these kind of things. And it makes you appreciate the craft and the process so much more when you have a crew and other like people working with you like that. So
It's very inspiring too. I mean, in this particular business, you have to give it 150% because there's no
right.
tomorrow. Whether it's film or TV, once it's, you know, okay, cut, we're moving on, then that's it. You can't drive home in your car and go, you know what I should have done? Maybe I'll try that tomorrow. What's that?
Let's try this tomorrow night.
Yeah, no,
No, no.
not with camera sports. You know, you can do that on the stage, but so it's good to have a director who's like that, who wants to make sure we've got what, okay, we've got it now, right? Okay, now let's move on. So, yeah.
Right. Did either of you ever consider a different career, or you knew this is what you wanted to do?
I didn't move out here till I was 30.
Yeah.
I was already doing a whole other career, and I had enough and said, you know what, I don't want to go the rest of my life wondering what if I had tried. So me and my wife and my 10-month-old baby just left it all and came to California. And you know, there have been bad days when I was like, what was I doing? But really, for the most part, it's just been very positive and very good, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah. I did the other thing. I came face to face with that choice in '94, and I chose to stop acting. I chose the other thing. There was this girl, and it looked like maybe I was going to be in a serious relationship for maybe, you know, one of the few times in my life. And so I chose the girl, and I went back to school and got a, you know, the job, the career in the real world. I was a programmer. I already was programming. I started in '89, and I went back and got some accreditation and was able to move up in the world a little bit. But I was a programmer for a total of 28 years, I guess. I retired in 2017. And that's when it's time to move on and do the thing that I really wanted to do all along, right? But so I've done it a little bit backwards, which I think is why this whole, I try not to call it the COVID thing because COVID hasn't really affected that many people. It's the quarantine that's done all the damage. I haven't been as, you know, direly affected by the quarantine because I was already finished work. I was retired, and it's just a matter of where am I staying? Am I here? Am I there? Yeah, so I started even later. So I kind of feel like I need to light a fire under myself now because you know, I'm not quite in the demographic where they put you on a motorcycle and let you shoot the bad guy and save the girl, you know. So I got to speed it up, and so I feel a little bit of pressure now. But this is great. This is if you would have asked me what do I want to do when I'm finished working, it would have been this. So yeah. Did I give an answer in there somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's weird how, again, something else that we've kind of talked about. Life is just very weird, and you just don't know until you're put in like that moment, I guess, if that makes sense, of what do I want to do? And it's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. This is what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
I mean, I don't regret it. I don't regret the other thing. It was, I was a civilian for all those years, and that's great. It's wonderful. But now, she's 100% behind me, and um, now we're doing this. So,
If there was one thing about the industry that you could change, what would it be and why?
Just one.
I mean, if you have multiples that you would like to talk about, go for it.
I don't know. I think the first thing that comes to mind is back to the audition process, which I love. I love very much. I love every aspect of our business. I wish though that, because they bring in, or they used to bring in, 20, 25 guys that look just like me. We don't do the same thing. And then we're all wondering, am I going to hear back? And I wish that those who are not going any further, they could just group in one email that says, blind carbon copy. Everybody says, thank you for coming in. You're awesome. We're not going in your direction this time, but, thanks for coming in. We'll see you again soon. That way you can just kind of, everybody says, when you audition, then just let it go. Well, it's a lot easier to let it go when you kind of know.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish there was, and they say they don't have time to call everybody, and I get that, but all it takes is one bulk email to just everybody that came in. Just one click of a button that says send, and it could be just doesn't have to be personal. It's just a one generic email to everybody that says, not this time. It'd be great that way, because it's much easier. There's two things that make it much easier to go on. First of all, if you know you're not the guy, then you can move on. And then also, if you have another audition that you're going to, it's much easier to move on to the next thing, because you already got the next thing. So, but nothing harder than you had one audition this month and you haven't heard anything, and you just want to hear something, whether it's good or bad. I would like to hear something. That's me. A lot of people don't want to, hear the no's or the rejections, if you want to call them that. Which I kind of have a love-hate relationship with that whole, you get rejected. So it was, you didn't get rejected because you got in the room.
Yeah,
that's a huge accomplishment in just in the first place. When you think of the thousands and thousands and thousands of submissions they get, just to be in the room and getting a shot at it is a huge victory. So I don't know. And, they're not calling you up saying, yeah, you suck. Go back to Virginia. It's not rejection. It's just not your turn this time. That's it. So but anyway, I would love to have some sort of closure, I guess, from the auditions, I guess is a good way to put it. Either way.
Yeah, that's what Carol Burnett says. In many ways, it's a lot like the Super Bowl, where you work and you struggle just to get, to this one thing, and then you don't get it. It's gone. I mean, you have to go all the way back to the beginning now and start all over. And she said that she just looked at it as like, okay, it was her time. It was her turn. I'll get my turn, and it helps to look at it that way, which was basically what you said. If it's not this time, it really is difficult though, to go through the audition process and just almost get there, and then they go in a different direction. Then you just start all over again, because it's not like, oh, well, that was a little bit of a setback. No, that was a total setback, terminal setback.
Except that, to me, what helps me in the audition process is when I go in the room, I'm not there to book the role. Ultimately, we would all love to, yes, but I'm there to do well enough to get back in the room again.
Right.
More casting directors you have that know, oh, well, Bryn can do this, Mike can do this, Tim can do this, let's bring him in. He was great the last time he was here. He didn't get it, but he was still great. So, and it's a numbers game. So eventually, the cast director is going to go, please, just get this guy in the show. We don't have to see him again.
Right.
That's the whole. What a great attitude to have. But the more you go in, it's just like it's a numbers game. Your number's going to be up one of these days, and it's going to be you. So, yay.
Yeah. So you're auditioning for way more than just the role.
Yeah, you're really auditioning. Lastly, for the role, you're auditioning for that casting director's support, and you want them to be your fan. So that everything they're doing that you're right for, they'll call you in because they want you to work. That's what it comes down to.
It's a good one.
I'm fortunate enough to have a few casting directors now that they call me in for everything they do, and it just makes it a lot easier and nicer, and it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, I'll get there one of these days.
That was a long way around. What would I change about the industry? That was a long answer.
It was a good answer, though.
Yeah.
And you told it so well.
Well,
Lovely story.
Mike, what would you change about the industry?
Wow. I don't know as much about the industry as you do, Tim. Certainly not about Hollywood. I mean, I'm still trying to figure that out. One thing, I might as well just go ahead and poke the biggest bear. I wish there was some way that the union world and the non-union world could live together in a little bit more harmony. It's really, really hard to, especially in the low budget world, to have a union project, because there's so many conditions and so much money and all this. It's difficult, and it's difficult to be a union person in Los Angeles if you want to do commercials and perhaps supplement your income that way, because the vast majority of those are non-union projects. And there's union, there's non-union, there's FICOR. It's just all very confusing. There's a lot to learn. I wish there was a way the world could sort of be happier together. That's, if I were elected, that's what I would do. That would be my first, just get everybody in a room and let's just start scribbling stuff on pieces of paper and sending texts and stuff and try to figure this out. That's what I would do. Maybe that's a little bit naive, I don't know, but I'm new. Like I said, I'm just Pollyanna here. I'm just trying to see the ideal side of things, and sometimes there's no ideal side. Sometimes you just have to live in the system that exists.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Tim. Say it.
As an entertainer, I choose to not make half of my audience angry. So I refrain from if we were in a restaurant in Pittsburgh, I would tell you exactly what to do. But at this point, since this might go someplace, I would not want to anger anybody, so I will.
Well, that's what I said. I didn't want to anger anybody either. I was just saying, for all worlds, it just would be nice if something could be, and maybe it can't be. I don't know. So
there is a way, but I won't mention it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later. And so I know you both kind of talked about a little bit about kind of your dream role, but is there like a film or a TV show character that you have just gotten to love so much that you would die to play?
That's a tough one, because I would have to really find somebody that I could realistically play. But I tell you, I would love nothing more than to be Raymond Reddington on the Blacklist. But I don't think I'd be believable to look at in that kind of role. So I'd have to ponder about what role is out there that I could realistically do, that I would want to do, and there's so many. Everything, I want them all.
I can do everything.
Let me think on that one, Mike answers. Sorry, Mike.
Well, Raymond Reddington came to mind, obviously, when she said that. I don't know about a specific role, but in recent years, I've really, really loved Homeland, the show, and it's shot season 6 here in Richmond, and I got close a couple of times. I got close, but no, it didn't work out. That would have been great to be on that show. And I love the series Westworld. That would be great. I would do any kind of co-star in any kind of world, Westworld or Rome world or future world or whatever world. I just love those shows. Sort of the intricacies of the storylines, and you really have to pay attention to what's going on. Yeah, those are the ones. So I would say I don't know about specific roles, but any kind of a character on one of those two shows, Westworld or well, I mean it's too late now, obviously for Homeland. Let's see what the next great series that comes along is.
I think I'm still stuck on. I really, really would love to do a good Western. Some friends of mine and I put together this pilot for a single camera comedy Western genre. And that would just be so much fun to do. I love the horse riding and the shooting guns and real clear good guys, real clear bad guys. None of this, mixing of the two together.
Me too, brother. As soon as you're casting, let me know.
That would be. I think that would be ultimate. As far as a role, I can't think of one specifically now, but mostly sitcom stuff. That's right up my alley. I know I could do that and do it well and keep everybody happy. I can do dramatic stuff too, and that's fun, but not as fun for me because it's more work. It's harder. People say comedy's hard, but I think the dramatic stuff is a lot more difficult to pull off well than funny for me. But that's because I was gifted with this face. Makes it comedy a little easier.
Yeah, I got to do a little comedy in the Zombie Club, and that was really my first opportunity because you're a straight man. We did that at least twice, The Follower and The Cabin. So I got to do a little comedy in the Zombie Club, and it was really fun. Comedy always makes me nervous because I don't think of myself as particularly funny. It's hard to be funny on purpose, but I don't know. I think it worked out pretty well, and I was pretty happy with it, and it was a lot of fun. So I would look forward to that again. Something funny. I also ride a horse, so just let me know. Seriously, let me know. I watched The Magnificent Seven the other night. I'm all in Western mode. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, I had my mustache on the other day. I posted on Facebook. I grew this morning, and I think I was telling Brent earlier. I think some people really thought I grew it that morning. I don't think they realized it was a little glue-on thing. It was fake. It wasn't real. I didn't grow it that morning, or at all. My face is much like my head. I've got bald spots everywhere, and it just really aggravates me. Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott, these guys who can have these, majestic and wonderful mustaches. I can't do that either. I can't grow it here, and I can't grow it here. These nice big bushy mountain here. That's what I want. I got these little bring.
Speaking of Tom Selleck, I mean, you probably wouldn't turn down a recurring on Blue Bloods, right?
Oh no, Blue Bloods is a good show. I like that show.
Yeah.
I was pestering my manager. I want to do one of the shows in Hawaii because I want to fly to Hawaii and do. Of course, Hawaii 5-0 is gone now, and I think Magnum PI is coming back. But what a great gig that would be. You get to do your favorite thing in the world, which is act, and then you get to be in Hawaii where you do it. I mean, come on. That didn't work out though. Come on, Hawaii, do some more shows.
Yeah, bring Lost back or something.
I won't wear a bathing suit, I promise. This is what's exciting to me right now is that when everything does open back up, I'm hoping that everybody's going to need content because everybody's watched everything already. So it maybe just be really busy. It may be kind of slow getting started because people aren't going to know how to quite do it with, social distancing and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully it'll be a lot of stuff, a lot of roles to do and a lot of shows to do them in, hopefully.
I hope so too.
Matt, have you been reading, writing, listening to different podcasts? What have you guys doing to keep yourselves busy?
Yes, I listen to a podcast coming back and forth from LA on the plane. I don't like to watch movies on the plane. I don't know why. I don't enjoy it. So I like listening to podcasts. And I listen to the Turner Classic Movies podcast. It's Ben Mankiewicz doing the life and career of Peter Bogdanovich. It was a 7-parter, and it was awesome. It was great. Loved it very much. Armchair Expert, Dak Shepard. That's a great podcast. I like Off Camera with Sam Jones. It used to be on DirecTV, but that channel's gone now. So now, if he goes forward with it, I'm going to have to only listen to it on podcast. But I'm a big acceptor of the podcast as an art form. I like it. It's good. You can do it whenever, as long as you can do this, you can do it. So what about you, Tim? Have you written anything? Have you written anything for me so I can ride a horse and shoot a gun and get the girl?
Get the girl.
No, I'm too busy writing stuff for me to get the girl. We can't both get the girl. If one of us is going to get the girl, it's going to be me, just so you know that.
Well, then write something for me and Lucy.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, good.
Get that girl. That's my dog.
She's barely a dog. She's the most wonderful creature, second most wonderful creature on earth.
She's a wonderful, wonderful living being. How's that? Is that good?
Yes.
I don't want to say I'm ADD or anything like that, because I think that's overused, but I have a very, very short attention span, so it takes a lot of stimulation to keep me from being bored. So podcasts, it's got to be really, really good for me to just be able to listen to some person talk without seeing something too. Reading is a task for me. Because I don't enjoy it.
Well, I mean, honestly, when it comes to reading, I'm kind of picky. It takes me a second to like really get into a book, so it's kind of something almost similar. I have to really be invested in it to sit down and read the whole book. So it really depends for me. It's weird.
One thing I find too is when I'm reading, it'll say, Tim and his dog Lucy went to the beach, and I'll think, oh yeah, I've been to the beach with my dog, and we did this and that. She hates the water. She's barking at everybody, but I'm still reading what's on the page. But my mind is thinking about my own personal experience, and then I get a page and a half done, and I'm like, crap, what did I just read? Then I have to go back and read it again because my brain wasn't paying attention to what I was reading. It was paying attention to my own thoughts.
Yeah.
Right.
It was very frustrating for me. And then so it's just like, then I say, screw this, I'm not reading it. I'll just think about me and my dog on the beach myself instead of reading with somebody else.
As far as my last question would be, as far as like casting directors and such, agents, managers, and all that, are there any that you recommend? How do you really look for them? Do you want to make sure that you have a reel and a resume? Because I know a lot of days now, a lot of teachers have told me like you want to have a built resume and some type of reel and your headshots and all that.
Well, that's a tough one. Casting directors, of course, you need agents and managers to get to them, so that's a different thing. But a reel is important, but you want to make sure that it's good stuff that would be relevant to getting that TV audition or the movie audition. Everything takes time. I think that's something that really can't be stressed enough. I mean, you just don't walk into town and all of a sudden you're going in for big TV shows or big movies. It just doesn't work that way. Every now and then you can say, hey, can you see my friend? Which has worked out for me, both being the friend and the guy saying, can you see my friend? But as far as, agents are concerned, they want to see that you have gotten some work on your own, because what they don't want is just some actor who's sitting back, drinking their latte and saying, when's the phone going to ring? And they also have to see something in you that they can see as like you took a business course. This is a business, so they have to see something in you that's going to be able to make them money, because they don't get paid unless you get a job, and you're not going to get a job unless you go into the room and you do well. So when you're starting out, you're going to get a beginner agent. It's just the way it works. You're not going to walk into the biggest agency in town and say, look at me, I'm fabulous, I have no experience, but you're going to want to sign me right now. It doesn't work that way. So you're going to, and then you're going to change that agent. You're going to change the next agent, and then hopefully at some point you'll get that agent that's just right for you. And you've done some more work now, and managers tend to be something you stick with longer. But agents, I think I've got a good team right now. I don't have any desire or plan to change anybody at this point. I'm with a decent agent, and I have a good manager who's a big fan of mine, and works hard for me. They all work hard for me, so I'm very happy with my representation. But it's taken me 20 years to get there. But it's also taken me, we've all worked together with everybody, and I think I can't stress enough that you just don't step off the bus and then start to audition. It just doesn't. I wish it did, because then I would have 20 years of residuals coming in now. But some people it takes longer, some people it takes less time, but it's an investment of time. And that's really what it comes down to, is that I've been here longer than anybody else who looks like me. So everybody knows me better. Everybody else gave up and went home, or very few of us left. It's resilience and stick-to-itiveness. I think that is the real key to this business, whether it's getting agents or getting auditions or getting jobs. You gotta stick with it. Don't give up. Never quit. Winston Churchill, never quit.
Exactly. My Alexa went off.
Take a look at the help section.
What? Why did she go off?
I don't know, because
They're always listening.
I hate when that happens, because it's like, is somebody like listening to me or something? It's so weird.
I knew I should. Never mind. It's hard because just like with athletes and artists and just about any endeavor, there has to be a little bit of mild, if you want to call it, arrogance or audacity or self-confidence or whatever, and to have some success in one arena and then step into another arena and realize that you got to get to the back of the line. That's humbling, and I considered my first year out there in 2019 as a waste. And I've been talking to some friends, and Tim is a great advisor for me and friend. And I see now that it was just more of I was learning every single thing that happened. I was learning every single audition that I never heard anything from, or every time it seems like everybody around me, they're auditioning every single day, sometimes a couple of times a day, and I got nothing. It's all a part of getting yourself seen, they have to see you. Just like he said, he's at a place now where some of the biggest names in town recognize him, and he doesn't even submit anymore. They just call him in to audition. And they don't know me yet. They haven't seen my face yet. So every single time, my manager submits me, or my commercial agency, still working on a theatrical agency, but your head shot goes across their table or across their screen, and they see you, and you might not be right for that, or you might be right for that, but they don't know who you are. And then over time, they start to get used to seeing your face, and then they start to bring you in. And it just takes time. And patience is not one of my big virtues. So that's something that I have to learn. But also to say what he said about not quitting, this is very much a business of attrition too. Some people just don't stick with it for whatever reason. Some people just aren't very nice, and so they're not invited back. Just lots of reasons why people, you see them and then you never see them again, and then other people you see again and again all the time. I mean, if you were going to spend, well, you were there for the zombie club. Those were long days. And that school, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, had no air conditioning. So those were like 12-hour days with a bunch of people, not social distancing. People were a little bit, the shooting schedule is behind a little bit. Not that I've ever seen one that was ahead. And if you're going to spend 12 hours with somebody, they better be nice people. And, if you're not, you're just not going to get invited back next time. So that's always the advice that I give. I mean, I'm entitled to give very little advice because I'm still very new into this whole Hollywood thing myself. But just always, a guy I like to watch, Dennis Prager, says that the key to happiness is gratitude. If you're grateful for where you are and for what you have, then you're going to be happy. And when you're happy, that's going to free you to make progress in whatever your endeavors are going to be. So just wherever you are, just be happy and be grateful and be nice and enjoy it, have fun, and you'll get your chance. You'll get your chances.
I think as Mike was talking, I thought of kind of a neat analogy. Maybe it's just neat in my mind only, but you have to have this nice big career. I'll equate it to like a big mansion, right? You don't just all of a sudden build the mansion. You got to go in there and you got to dig the hole, and then you got to pour the foundation, and then you got to put up the studs, then you got to put the flooring in, then you got to put the roof on, then you got to put the walls on. So it's a big, long process to get to this nice big, Hollywood mansion career. But you can't do it without pouring the foundation first, putting in the footers and putting the foundation, which a lot of people want to ignore and not do. And that's the time when you got to pour it, and then you got to let it cure. You got to let it sit, and there's nothing you can do till that's done curing and sitting, and it's just time. And if you try to put the studs up before the foundation is done curing, then it's all going to sink and be demolished, and then you got to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything else, it just takes time, and it'll happen.
Okay, well, I'm so glad that both of you got to do this. It was so nice to talk to you both and see you guys again. I'm hoping that, of course, that we'll be able to work with each other again. I would love to. You guys were such a joy to be around, and those long days just made it so much better. You guys have such great people. You're just great people, and I loved working with you. So hopefully I get to do it again.
I can't believe it. It's been like the last time I saw you was on the porch at okay, there she is. Was on the porch, remember? It just, like you said, it seems like, I can't believe it's a year ago already.
I know.
And, wow, here we are. So nice to see your face again. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're in the Berg.
Yeah.
Oh, have some pierogies for me.
Best of luck, and break a leg in everything you do.
Thank you. I'll be sure to keep in contact. All right. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys so much again. Have a good rest of your evening.
Nice seeing you, brother. Talk to you soon.
See ya.